In my last YouTube video on how to fix a slice, I talked about the body movements and the mechanics of the club and the swing plane that tend to lead to the amateur golfer hitting a slice. But there's another one that's a really common cause that you may not know or understand or know how to fix it, and that is, believe it or not, just hitting the ball on the heel of the club will create a slice spin on the ball. So even if you hit the ball perfectly with a perfectly square club face and a perfectly square path, with a driver, if you miss the center of the club face by ½ an inch, the ball will still slice about 20 yards. That's right, 20 yards. Even though you technically did everything perfect, you just missed the center of the club face a little bit. Now with irons it's a little bit less, but you get the picture that hitting the ball not in the center of the face can create a ton of problems, and you may be chasing your swing flaws that you think you have, when in fact what you have is you're just missing the center of the club face. And there's a couple really common causes that I want to talk about that, because there are a lot of things that people don't really think about or understand that cause this really common miss. And one of them is setting up with your right hand in a dominant position. So if you've watched our rotary swing videos, there's a lot of discussion about the left side versus the right side and pushing versus pulling and all those things. And what we see all the time is golfers who, because they're right-handed, they become very right arm dominant. And so what they do as a natural instinct is they pull their right arm in really close to their body at address to put it in a position where it feels connected and it feels very powerful. And anytime I see somebody crowding the ball like this and their left arm is now really jammed in because it's just getting beat up by the right arm trying to be close to the body, and if they do anything proper with the swing at all, they're going to tend to hit it off the hosel or off the heel because they're setting up too close to the ball. So the simple way to fix this is to find out how far you want to set up away from the ball, and that is done by getting your left arm to set up correctly. So if you don't understand exactly setup and axis tilt and all those things, check out our videos on the site that walk you through the stance. But I'm going to give you a quick rundown of, once you get into your posture and you have your axis tilt, get your right hand out of the way and let your left arm hang down naturally. And from there, take your right hand and hand the club to your left hand. And now, from there, reach under with the right, and now I've got proper spacing and the ball lined up on the center of the face. You can see how the way I was set up earlier, to get my right hand into a control position, I'm much closer to the ball than a proper setup. You want the club to be able to swing out away from you and release. The further the club's going to swing out away from you, technically the faster it can move. The closer and narrower you are, the slower your club's going to move. So that's number one. You got to get your proper stance with proper setup distance from the ball. The second thing that's really, really important is you've got to make certain that as you come down, you don't start standing up and pushing off this right leg to move your hip into the ball. Because as you're doing that, you're moving your body up and you're changing your spine angle. And as you change your spine angle, watch what happens if I just change my spine angle to the plane of the shaft. All of a sudden, you see how the swing plane tilts and starts swinging out to the right. Now, of course, that's going to lead with the heel of the club. That's going to get me swinging really hard into out, and that's going to get the club also working to where the ball is going to be wanting to come off the hosel or the heel of the club. And so that is really critical. That's just understanding sequencing of movement, and that's how you're loading up your body and unloading your body. Got a great video for that called How to Swing from the Ground Up, and that's just learning how to transition from the backswing to the downswing and how to load up your body correctly so that you don't just throw your arms and drive off your right leg at it. So if you're slicing the ball but you feel like you're swinging properly, your plane is good, and you start noticing that you're hitting balls off the heel, check these two things and check the video How to Swing from the Ground Up, and that will help you understand how to sequence your swing and get the club to shallow out properly when you have a proper stance width and distance from the ball.